Welcome to Guthli Talks presented by Miles SoBA, your backstage pass to the creative circus of branding and advertising. Today we are sitting down with somebody that I fanboy on a daily basis. Devaiah Bopanna. Sir, you came up with this amazing idea of Moonshot. Every day I open LinkedIn, everyone is talking about Moonshot. My question is, what are you guys doing right?
I don't know. I think we just stick to the basics.
Okay.
We try to understand the generation from all points of view. Obsession with what people generally like and seeing how we can place brand and marry the two and present it as good content that people like watching.
How can a young creative train himself to find these observations among humans?
It's important to, I think, consume a lot of content. The danger with advertising is you get too into it and you start believing that is the world.
Sir, would you say you're a creative person?
I hope, I am. I mean, I raise my invoice as a creative, so I better be a creative person.
When we approached you to become the jury for Guthli AdFest 2024, what was the thing that got you interested for it?
I saw Piyush Pandey and Pops' photo and I was like, I wish I can meet these guys. The absolute very honest answer. But I'm just coming to meet my idols.
Amazing.
Like how it's like your Guthli moment, it's my Guthli moment.
Thank you so much for giving us your time, sir.
Hey, not all.
Thank you so much for welcoming us into your house.
Call me Dev, please, no sir. It's a little weird.
Sir, you came up with this amazing idea of Moonshot, four of you guys, and this is an agency that's creating waves. Every day I open LinkedIn, everyone is talking about Moonshot. Yesterday we were talking to Pop sir, and he was talking very highly about the CRED campaign.
Kind of him.
My question is, what are you guys doing right, from your perspective?
I don't know. I think we just stick to the basics.
Okay.
We understand like we are obsessed about we are kind of obsessed with like what people are consuming.
Okay.
In terms of content, what they kind of like. We go very deep into that. We try to understand the generation from all points of view. It helps that we ourselves are kind of young and just becoming old now, recently young people.
Right.
So that kind of helps. So I think, obsession with what people generally like and understanding people, human beings, psychology, their culture, understanding pop culture,
right.
and seeing how we can place brand and marry the two and present it as good content that people like watching. Yeah, we just keep it that simple.
So you talked about observational insights.
Yeah.
How can a young creative train himself to find these observations among humans? And how do you recognize those patterns?
I think consumption, like we read a lot. We consume all kinds of social media like every day, obsessively.
Right.
And also like, it's 10, 15 years in the business. So you sort of start, like your skills also start compounding at this time. And it's important to, I think, consume a lot of content, read, be very interested in every subject, be interested in people in general.
Right.
I think we're like, it's people's business, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be very interested in people, like ask questions and, just get out of the job. The danger with advertising is you get too into it and you start believing that is the world.
Yes.
Right. And then that becomes a problem.
Yep.
So, personally, like, I also kind of like writing, I just don't do advertising. I write on LinkedIn, I write on Instagram, I try to build my audience there. So that also gives me like first-hand feedback loops on what is working, what is not working. So that is very important. That comes into the job that I'm doing. Similar to my whole team, like, all our team members do their own things. They have their own interests. They have their own audiences that they kind of work and develop and grow and get first-hand feedback, like from people. Like when you put something out there, is it working? Is it not working? Why is it not working? And why is it working?
Yeah.
So that really helps. And just being genuinely interested, like it's like how if you go out on a date you're really interested in, you genuinely want to know that person, is basically you have to date humanity in advertising. You just have to keep meeting people and asking them what they do and why they do it and try and observe them and basically date humanity. Yeah, sorry, bad advice, but just date humanity.
That's a brilliant way to put it. Yeah. Sir, would you say you're a creative person?
I hope, I am. I mean, I raise my invoice as a creative, so I better be a creative person.
Right.
But
the reason I ask that is,
Sure.
do you think creativity is something that is an acquired trait, or are you born with it?
it's both. It's definitely both. I think everyone is kind of born creative. I mean, some people have a knack and like sort of develop that skill. It's like athletics, right? Like all of us have the same number of arms and legs. I mean, arms and feet or whatever legs, yeah. But like, yeah, all of us have potential to be like athletes.
Yeah.
Like, but like a few of us make it. But like, yeah, if you practice hard, you will still become an athlete to some level.
Yeah.
But then there's some genetic makeup that will help you go to the next
Excel
level,
a bit
right?
more.
So everyone's creative, and I think, but the unfortunate part is there are a lot of creative people who get lost because they're not doing creative things, or they've pursued something else, you know, or they've not worked on their skill set and their creativity hard enough to be sort of doing a creative, so-called creative job. All jobs are creative, but in advertising or like a very like a commercial artist's role in the society. So I think you are kind of born with it, but then you have to work hard
Constantly
at
on
it,
it.
for it to actually for you to make a meaningful living out of it.
Makes sense, sir. I mean, you're one of those people who escape the conventional thing, and because
No, I did everything conventional. I had to go to, I did well in school.
Yep.
Then I took up science in my 11th and 12th. Then
Relatable.
Then I got a good rank. Then I did my engineering.
Right.
So I did everything conventional. That was conventional in 2004 Bangalore. And yeah, I did engineering, and then engineering was a good place. So it really helped me as a writer, to be honest.
Makes sense. Sir, what were your early days like? Not only in just advertising, but how did this whole journey start? As we call it, your Guthli days.
Okay. I think my Guthli days would be, so my dad's a writer.
Okay.
So he was always at home working on stuff. So I saw writing from very close quarters.
Right.
So I understood what goes into writing. He used to read a lot, so I used to read a lot. So a lot of reading, honestly, I did. I don't read as much these days.
Right.
Because of paucity of time and loss of focus in general. Like you can't read anymore properly. But I used to read a lot.
Okay.
So all I remember is reading, having fun, watching a lot of movies, and first 1-2 years in advertising, being completely in love with the fact that you could just create something out of thin air and then it becomes something and people watch it and then you kind of get paid for it, however little it was. It was very little at that point in time. So it was this fun adventure, and I really took to it because I really had an open mind.
Makes sense.
And I just loved, I mean, I would have to be forced not to work on like all the time. Like I loved working weekends.
Yeah.
I loved working late nights.
Right.
I was like, oh wow, like sitting with, I joined Ogilvy. That was my first job, and sitting with the Ogilvy creative team in Bangalore, like looking at my bosses crack things and like come up and write and design campaigns. It was just an amazing atmosphere just to keep watching it.
Yep.
So yeah, I just remember being obsessed about it. I remember having a lot of fun, having an open mind and working really hard.
Amazing. Sir, all of us are branding and advertising students from Miles SoBA. Yeah. We study ads, right? And a lot of the ads that we study are from the 90s, in the early 2000s.
Sure.
And bloody good ads, right? These are called iconic ads. Yeah. And we also study ads in our homes that you guys produce, right? New ads that are really doing well. Do you think 10 years down the line, your ad would be as good as to be studied? Or is that something that you guys even think about?
No, honestly not. I'm not being humble here, but genuinely, honestly,
right.
like never thought about it this way. I mean, see, there's a reason. Like I genuinely feel there's a reason why those ads are iconic, right? It just I feel like sort of Piyush Pandey for me invented Indian advertising.
Yeah.
And the kind of work that he did across 4 decades.
Yep.
Like genuinely, I don't know if we are going to survive 3 years. Right? Like, not because of opportunities, but just like, will our talent still be that relevant in 3 years time, right? So, I mean, these are work that's been created by the greats.
Yep.
So they will live on forever.
Sir, the reason I asked that question earlier is because a lot of creatives these days speak that, "Arey, ads mein maza nahi hai." But then us youngsters, we are like, "Arey, ads mein to bhi maza hai," because we consume a lot of ads these days, right? And you guys are cracking that very well to ensure that we don't feel bored while watching these ads. Because of the drop, maybe because of the drop of attention rate. I mean, I have a goldfish memory. I can't sit through like a longer ad. So, has the whole purpose of advertising changed, or what has changed?
Yeah, I mean, partly you answered the question. Actually, it has definitely changed. There's a dip in attention span.
Right.
There's like, I keep saying this, that the phone companies now know more about you today than they did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So they know your triggers, they know like everything that you are feeling, and they're going to bombard you with notifications that is going to make you open it because they know you so well. So you're always on your phone. The algorithm knows you by now really well.
Definitely.
So like the content it is sort of pushing out to you at all points. Make sure that you don't leave that platform. So it's like by the time you're feeling bored, something else is served.
Exactly.
So your bored life cycle has come down.
Yep.
Like earlier, maybe if it took like 1 hour for someone to get bored, today maybe it's like come down to 5 seconds.
Yep.
Right. So there is definitely, so when the consumption pattern has changed for people, like the creative pattern also changes.
Definitely.
It follows the consumption pattern.
Yep.
So definitely that has happened.
Okay.
So I think the writing style also kind of has to have those many hooks. And that's why humor in advertising, if you see, even I think Cannes came out this year with a report that said humor in advertising has gone up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that is because, I think of this, because humor as an emotion is very easy to sort of, it's easier to game this attention deficit generation.
Okay.
Like, because you can plant a joke every 5 seconds, you can turn things around. It's always, it can keep you hooked.
More than tension.
I mean, see, for tension to happen, like there has to be some payoff.
Okay.
Right now, if you hold tension, like ideally, then you have to hold tension for a longer time.
Makes sense.
And you can't be tense for 10 seconds, right? Like, so it's
that defeats the whole purpose.
It defeats the purpose of tension. Also with emotion, that's the same thing. The payoff, the emotional payoff. Right. Like you need to sort of build an emotion and then you have to pay it off. And the other thing, coming back to advertising and humor, now in a tense situation or in like an emotional situation, serving up, for example, a brand integration in the middle of it is going to destroy it completely.
That's true.
But with humor, like it can probably sometimes make it funnier.
That is very true.
Right? So I think that is why humor, advertising and current generation and consumption pattern somewhere is matching very well.
Makes sense, sir. Sir, I'm glad you brought up the humor part because I had a follow-up question for this. Something that you guys do very well is brand integration with humor. All of your ads are mad funny and it sells the brand perfectly, right? And every brand is trying to be funny these days. Every brand is hiring comedians as their writers to ensure that they seem funny. After a point of while, do you think it's going to be so saturated because there's no other emotion that's being sold?
See, I think even in humor, there are different ways of doing it.
Okay.
And also, it's not true that there are no ads with other emotions that are running.
Right.
There are.
Yep.
And like, I think Ogilvy put out something last year, which I think we even won at Cannes. It's called Dr. Pillai.
Yep. The Impossible Choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, stellar
really good
work, right?
Yep.
Like, even what Ogilvy did with, like, say, the Shah Rukh, 2 years ago with technology, right? With everyone can
sit next to him. Yes.
No, everyone can be. Shah Rukh will be in your ad all the time.
Oh yeah, the 100. Yep.
So, I mean, these are not funny in the conventional sense, right? So, I think everything is going to exist, but humor right now, because of the consumption pattern and the attention problem, is easier to get to your TG a lot more. So, if you looked at advertising between 2000, in the say 2000, 2010s, there's a lot of emotional work that was going on. Right, like you had a lot of work on Tanishq, you had like Cadbury, like everything was around emotion and emotional content was on the rise, right? So I think it's an era thing. So it's a generation thing. It kind of like there'll be one dominant emotion for a few years because that's also how people like that particular piece of that genre in content. Because see, also one is the attention and that thing that I explained why humor is working. The other thing is like this is like probably like the loneliest generation, right? Like social media is going to make you like it's going to create a lot of self-esteem issues. I can't imagine like 16, 17-year-olds like living their life on social media.
Definitely.
So it's a lot of pressure. So you're automatically, it makes you more depressed. It makes you look within and feel like shit a lot more. So you are also like low attention with low self-esteem, and you're like the generation is a lot more looking inwards, right? They don't have real connections. So when they come online, they don't want to see more
depressing stuff.
So this is a break.
Makes sense.
I think that also
so it's again
helps.
The whole sort of like disrupt what they're expecting, and then now humor is what is disrupting it.
For them it makes them
sense.
feel good.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So you're the jury member for ad film category, which is partnered with Lahori Zira at Guthli Ad Fest 2024. What is an X factor of an entry that you're expecting? What is something that if you see it and you're like, ye to jeet sakta hai?
Definitely, I think like attacking a problem in the most like unexpected way. And very hard to explain, like X factor. That's why it's X factor. It's really hard to explain. I think it's when you it's like if I see something and said like, damn, even I didn't think of that. Like I think that is like that's always exciting.
Awesome. So for that to happen, our audience, our creatives, young creatives, they need to crack the brief very well, right? They'll need to go into the insights. They'll need to go deep into the brief. Could you tell me how you crack a brief so that they have a better idea and understanding of it?
See, what I look for in any brief is the truth. And sometimes the truth can be uncomfortable.
Definitely.
And sometimes the truth is so obvious, no one's speaking about it. So like whatever the product I look for, like generally the truth in the brief, like what is this whole thing reduced to one line to?
Right.
What do we have to say in one line? So just get to that basic level. Like I don't confuse myself with a lot of jargon, analysis, theories. Like obviously the strategy. But when I start, it has to like come down to that one line. It can be as simple as whatever, like this chewing gum lasts longer. Now we come down to that absolute one line problem. And then you work from there.
Awesome.
So then I take that one line and then I'm like, okay, what are the different ways of doing this one thing? What is the most obvious thing to do nobody is doing? What is the thing that everyone is doing that you have to avoid doing? And and then I start from there.
Awesome. Sir, I'm glad you brought that up because this is something I saw in Paddy sir's office and I couldn't ask about it to him. And it's a bunch of filters and then comes idea. So as you mentioned, when a brief is there, you obviously narrow it down to one thing. And then you gotta clear out everything that's obvious. How do you do that? Because naturally for a creator, you're like, first idea is the best idea. That's what youngsters think.
So
how do you solve that?
We generally, when we sit to work, we just think for days, man. Like many hours, 10, 12-hour days for many days. So even if we crack the first idea is really good, but we have to think for days.
Makes sense. It's mandatory.
Like, so then after like some 5 days of thinking, we write down everything that we thought about. Alright, hey, what if we do X, Y, Z? We write down, okay, what if, no matter how stupid or how
bizarre it is,
smart it is, everything's written down. And 5 days later, we go through the whole like list of thoughts, which is by then I think some many number, like say 40, 50. And then we pick like about 12, 13.
Okay.
And say, okay, these are interesting thoughts. The scripts can be interesting on this.
Yeah.
And then we script it out.
Makes sense.
And then we cull about another half over there, and then we'll have a top 5.
Right.
So you can't stop at the first idea, no matter how good you think that first idea is. Sometimes, yeah, like after 5 days, you come back and you're like, yeah, the
You
first
still
idea
stick
is
with the
nice.
first
Yeah.
idea, but still
Yeah.
give it time and then
have
you.
to- Yeah.
Yes, sir, that's a brilliant take on it. Sir, when we approached you to become the jury for Guthli AdFest 2024, what was the thing that got you interested for it?
I saw Piyush Pandey and Pops' photo, and I was like, I wish I can meet these guys. It's the absolute very honest answer. Because I mean, I don't know if I'm anyone who can come inspire and impress and all that. For me, I was like, I saw Piyush Pandey's photo there, and I saw Pops' photo there. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, like whatever it is.
Awesome, sir.
I'm
this
just
would be
coming to meet, like, you know, I just,
your idols,
Yeah,
and
my
we are coming
idols.
to meet your amazing.
I don't know about that, but I'm just coming to meet my idols.
Amazing.
Like how it's like your Guthli moment is my Guthli moment. The festival is your Guthli moment. For me, meeting, I think these guys is my Guthli moment.
Amazing, and I think this would really make you happy. We met Pops 2 days ago, and Pops were highly complimenting of. Pops was complimenting Credads very highly.
Oh, that's so nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, the thing has been that, like, I think a lot of the good seniors in the business have been very encouraging, like, you know, to everything that we've been doing, and like it's very contrary to what a lot of people would believe, that, you know, senior people, they are like, you know, they would, I mean, they've been the most gracious of the lot, all of them, a lot of them actually.
Because we have been going around like a circus meeting all of these people, and all the seniors are some of the most humblest people who just want to, give their knowledge all to us.
Yeah.
Sir, as I earlier mentioned, everybody is talking about the cred ad, which is amazing, which is something that we study. So everybody is talking about cred ads or bold care ad or Swiggy ad, all of this which we thoroughly enjoy and we thoroughly study and grabs our attention. As a creator of these ads, I want you to critique them.
Oh, okay.
A proper in-depth critique.
I mean, I wish we had more time.
Okay.
I think sometimes, like, for example, say like the Swiggy ones and all that. The thing is, with an idea like that, you don't know if there could have been a better, like, say there's Broom, like, you know, did we try every permutation
and combination of it? Yes.
So there's that kind of like bothers you sometimes. You're like, hey, did you get it?
Something more funnier.
Yeah, something more funnier could have been there or not.
Yep.
There's that. With the cred ads, I don't know, like, I think we have a very bad habit. We don't dissect our own
ads.
We just move on, like, you know.
Jo hua.
Yeah, we just move on, and we don't even watch the ads, because, like I keep saying, like, reason I want to do well in life is I want to make enough money to have premium subscription of everything, so I skip all the ads that we're making. Don't have to watch any of them. So I genuinely, like, after it goes out, I don't ever see the ads that we've made ever, like, interrupting my life.
Right.
So I don't get to see it again and again. But what else? I mean, how to critique? I think I'm going to come across as a total douche, because I'm like, I can't critique my own work.
It's too good.
No, it's not that. Yeah, I don't know if you've thought so deeply about this, man, but I'm sure if I watch the ads again, there will be like, oh, okay, like maybe something over here could have been better. We could have added a joke, one more moment. We didn't milk it. Maybe there was a better escalation somewhere, which we didn't try. Maybe a different casting. That also
could have been better.
Could have been like somewhere, like, maybe could have taken the ad to another level. So we kind of, yeah, like if I watch it again and again, maybe then I'll notice it.
Awesome. So do you think the core purpose of advertising is to sell or entertain?
It has to do definitely both.
Okay.
Like it can't be just one of these two things.
Right.
Like if it is not entertaining, it will not sell enough.
Okay.
Or it will just sell then, but then the next time you start, you have to start from zero again,
Makes
because
sense.
you've not occupied a real estate in anyone's mind the first time you did something.
Makes sense.
So I think it has to be both. And yeah, if you're only entertaining and it's not selling, then no one's going to come to you.
That's true.
Like, so because clients are not paying money so that everyone is entertained.
Right.
They want to
Sales to happen, yeah.
sales to happen, and like, or some kind of recall to happen, or the purpose when you build a brand is to ensure you spend less every subsequent time, because there's already that much amount of real estate in a person's head when they're watching this, or they know of the brand. You don't have to introduce yourself 20 times over. So you introduce yourself a first few times very well, people remember you, and then when you come back, you can come back with better, like there's already context, right? It's literally person, like if you meet a person 3 times and you become their friends, you don't have to every time come and talk to them about what you like, what you don't like, or they don't have to, like, you can just directly jump to the point, which saves everyone a lot of effort, energy, and in advertising money.
Makes sense, sir. I can't wait to meet you 2 more times. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you for again welcoming us into your home, and thank you for such an insightful conversation.
No, thank you.
He'll be there on October 19th and 20th at St. Xavier's College. All of you can come and interact with him, and we had a fun time. I hope you guys have an amazing time chatting with him as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Looking forward.
Before we sign off, if you weren't aware already, Guthli AdFest 2024, India's first advertising fest solely dedicated to students, is coming your way on 19th and 20th October. This is your chance to unleash your creativity, make your mark, and start young in the world of advertising. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Register now through the link in the description and be part of a fest that's all about nurturing the next generation of creative geniuses. If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with a fellow creative. Stay tuned for more insights, more inspiration, and more behind-the-scenes magic in the world of branding and advertising. And always remember, every journey starts with a Guthli.